The ultimatum. The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Confederation hung suspended in the void between stars, a massive crystalline structure that housed representatives from over 500 sentient species. Delegates from worlds spanning 3 spiral arms of the Milky Way gathered in tiered seating, their murmurs creating a symphony of clicks, whistles, and rumbles as they awaited the day's proceedings. High Arbiter Zolvash stood at the center of the chamber, her translucent exoskeleton shimmering with bioluminescent patterns that signaled her agitation. The 7-limbed Galaxy representative's voice amplified through the chamber's acoustic enhancers. "We gather today to address the human question," she announced, her melodic tones carrying an unmistakable edge. "The incidents at Proxima Station cannot be ignored." Holographic displays activated throughout the chamber, showing footage of a human research vessel's disastrous first encounter with a Galaxy diplomatic craft. What should have been a historic moment of peaceful contact had devolved into tragedy when the human ship's experimental defense systems had catastrophically misfired, vaporizing the alien delegation and 3,000 inhabitants of the nearby station. "The evidence suggests a tragic accident," countered Ambassador Chen Wei, the sole human representative permitted in the chamber. His face remained composed, though his knuckles whitened as he gripped the podium. "Humanity deeply regrets this incident and offers full reparations. We ask only for understanding as we work to understanding." The Vextal representative rose on its gravitational platform, gelatinous form rippling with indignation. "Your species progressed from primitive combustion engines to dimensional field manipulators in less than 5 centuries, a development curve unprecedented in galactic history. And now this accident conveniently eliminates a delegation that was investigating human weapons research." Chen Wei's eyes narrowed. "We categorically deny any." "The motion before this council is not about guilt or innocence," interrupted Zolvash. "It is about risk assessment. Humanity's technological progression is exponential and unpredictable. Their biological aggression markers and resource consumption patterns exceed safe parameters by factors of 20 and 37, respectively." The Arbiter's limbs moved in rhythmic patterns as she continued. "The Predictive Analytics Division forecasts a 63% probability that an unrestricted human civilization will destabilize galactic peace within 3 centuries. We cannot accept this risk." For 12 hours, the debate raged. Representatives from older species warned of humanity's dangerous potential, while younger civilizations cautioned against hasty judgment. In the end, the decision came with overwhelming support. By authority of the Galactic Confederation, humanity is hereby restricted to their solar system and 7 designated colony worlds. All faster-than-light research beyond currently achieved speeds is prohibited. Human military vessels are limited to defensive operations within their permitted sphere. Violation of these terms will result in immediate quarantine enforcement. Chen Wei stood frozen, the implications washing over him like ice water. Not extinction or war, but stagnation. A cage built of laws and restrictions rather than bars. "For how long?" he asked quietly. Zolvash's bioluminescent patterns pulsed with what might have been sympathy. "Until your species demonstrates sufficient evolutionary maturity. The Council will reassess in 500 years." Commander Alexis Keller stared out the viewport of Eris Station, watching Earth turn slowly below. At 43, she still maintained the disciplined physique and sharp gaze that had propelled her through the ranks of Earth's unified defense force. Her dark hair was cut in a severe bob, streaked with premature silver, a testament to the past 18 months since the Proxima incident. "They're afraid of us," she said to the holographic projection of United Earth President Omar Santos. "Can you blame them?" Santos replied, "From their perspective, we're evolutionary sprinters in a marathon race. Most Confederation species took thousands of years to develop technologies we mastered in decades." Keller turned from the viewport. "And their solution is to trap us, to force us into technological stasis while they continue advancing. The alternative was quarantine enforcement, a euphemism for orbital bombardment, according to Ambassador Chen. Santos sighed, his holographic form flickering slightly. We're lucky they're allowing us limited colonization rights. 7 worlds is better than none. 7 worlds for 10 billion humans. We'll outgrow them within a century. Keller's voice remained level, but her eyes burned with intensity. Mr. President, you know what I'm going to propose. Santos nodded grimly. The Ascension Project. It's no longer theoretical. We need full authorization and black budget funding. Keller activated her datapad, sending classified files to the President's secure terminal. We continue legitimate development within their parameters on the surface. But underground, we accelerate our research exponentially. The Confederation has observation posts monitoring all our systems, Commander. Which is why Phase 1 involves developing technologies to shield our activities from their sensors. Dr. Nishimura has made promising advances in quantum field manipulation. Santos studied her for a long moment. You're talking about deception on an unprecedented scale. If discovered, it would confirm every fear the Confederation has about us. And if we do nothing, Keller countered, humanity becomes a footnote in galactic history, a species that showed promise but was hobbled before it could reach its potential. Is that the legacy you want, Mr. President? 3 days later, Commander Keller received her authorization codes. The Ascension Project began with 300 scientists working in deep Earth facilities. Within 5 years, that number grew to 15,000 spread across hidden installations on Earth, Mars, and the moons of Jupiter. Dr. Maya Nishimura's quantum concealment fields proved revolutionary, creating bubbles of altered reality that were invisible to Confederation sensors. Behind these veils, humanity's greatest minds worked without constraint. On the surface, Earth maintained perfect compliance with Confederation restrictions. Human representatives attended council sessions with appropriate deference. Trade relations developed along permitted channels. The 7 colony worlds grew according to sanctioned expansion patterns. And deep beneath the surface, humanity broke every rule. 10 years into the Ascension Project, the breakthrough came in an unlikely source. Dr. Sanjay Kapoor had been investigating dimensional physics when he discovered what he called slipstream space, a layer of reality existing parallel to our own where conventional physical laws bent in unusual ways. The Confederation's restrictions focus on faster-than-light travel within normal space, Kapoor explained to an assembled group of project leaders. But slipstream space offers something different. Not faster travel through normal space, but movement through a different layer of reality entirely. Keller, now with the rank of Admiral and overall director of the Ascension Project, studied the holographic models. Can we build ships to navigate this slipstream? Better than that, Kapoor replied with a rare smile. We can build entire facilities there, permanent installations existing in a dimensional layer the Confederation doesn't even know how to detect. Within 3 years, the first slipstream facility was established. Ascension Station Alpha. Unlike normal space stations requiring massive resources and generating heat signatures detectable across light years, Alpha existed in the fold between dimensions. Undetectable. Unreachable except through specific technological means that only humans possessed. The first colonists, all scientists, engineers, and military personnel, numbered less than 1,000. They were followed by construction crews, then specialized workers, then their families, all carefully selected, all sworn to absolute secrecy. Alpha became the template. Beta followed, then Gamma, Delta, and beyond. Each facility growing into a full colony, then expanding further. In slipstream space, resources could be harvested from mineral-rich planetoids that had no counterpart in normal space. Energy could be drawn from dimensional rifts that produced no detectable emissions in the conventional universe. And while the Confederation believed humanity contained within 8 worlds, an entire shadow civilization was taking form. 15 years after the ultimatum, Admiral Keller stood on the observation deck of Ascension Command, the 19th and largest installation in slipstream space, At 58, her hair was now completely silver, her face lined with the weight of the greatest secret in human history. Progress report, she requested of the assembled division heads. Dr. Nishimura, now well into her 70s but sharp as ever, nodded to her protege who activated a holographic display. Quantum concealment fields now extend to portable personal units. A human operative can move through Confederation space completely undetectable by any known technology. Captain James Okonkwo, head of the newly formed Phantom Fleet, continued. We have 37 vessels capable of transitioning between normal and slipstream space. Scout ships have mapped significant portions of Confederation territory without detection. And the Nexus project? Keller asked, turning to Dr. Kapoor. Ready for full implementation, he replied, his once black hair now white, eyes gleaming with pride behind smart glass spectacles. The dimensional gateway can transport an entire battle group instantaneously between any 2 points in normal space, using slipstream as the conduit. Keller nodded, taking in the information. 23 hidden colonies housing nearly 30 million humans, a fleet of advanced ships, technologies beyond anything the Confederation possessed, all developed in absolute secrecy. We're approaching the decision point, she told the assembled leaders. For 20 years, we've built and prepared while maintaining the facade of compliance. The question now becomes, what do we do with what we've created? The room fell silent. This was the question they had all anticipated and dreaded. We have 3 options, Keller continued. First, we maintain our development in secret indefinitely, building our strength while waiting for the Confederation to eventually recognize our maturity. Second, we reveal ourselves from a position of overwhelming technological advantage and force a renegotiation of terms. She paused, her gaze sweeping the room. Or third, we abandon this galaxy entirely. Use our slipstream technology to establish humanity elsewhere, beyond the reach of the Confederation. Before anyone could respond, an emergency alert sounded. Lieutenant Devika Sharma rushed into the command center, her dark eyes wide. Admiral, long-range sensors have detected something. A massive energy signature at the edge of Confederation space. Nothing we've ever seen before. The main display activated, showing readings from their covered observation network. An immense darkness was moving through the stars, not ships in the conventional sense, but vast, shifting shadows that seemed to consume light itself. What are we looking at, Lieutenant? Keller demanded. Unknown, ma'am. But they've already destroyed 2 Confederation outposts. Whatever they are, they're not friendly, to us or the Confederation. Keller's expression hardened as she studied the readings. After 20 years of secret preparation for an eventual confrontation with the Confederation, humanity now faced an entirely different scenario. It seems, she said quietly, that the universe has just presented us with a 4th option. The revelation. 20 years after the Proxima incident, the Galactic Confederation had grown complacent in their management of the human problem. Regular inspection teams visited Earth and its 7 colony worlds, finding nothing but compliance. Human representatives attended council sessions with appropriate humility, accepting their limited role in galactic affairs. The humans were considered a successfully contained potential threat, a case study in preventative diplomacy often cited in Confederation academic circles, which was exactly as Admiral Alexis Keller had planned it. Beyond the perception of Confederation sensors, humanity had flourished. 42 settlements existed in slipstream space, housing nearly 100 million people. 3 generations had been born into this secret society, raised with the knowledge that they were part of humanity's hidden future. The dimensional gateway network, the Nexus, connected these settlements to each other and allowed for instantaneous transit to any point in normal space. The Phantom Fleet had grown to over 300 vessels, ranging from small scout ships to massive carriers. And through it all, the secret had held. Until the Voidborn came. High Arbiter Zolvash stood in the emergency session of the Grand Council, her exoskeleton no longer shimmering with subtle patterns, but flashing with urgent warnings. The chamber, once a place of measured debate, now echoed with panicked voices. "The outer colonies of the Vextol systems have gone dark," she announced, silencing the chamber. 17 worlds. 6 billion sentients. No communications, no survivors, no warning. The holographic displays showed the devastation. Planets stripped of life, their surfaces reduced to barren rock. Space stations torn apart, defense fleets vaporized. "We are facing an existential threat unlike anything in Confederation history," Zolvash continued. "We call them the Voidborn. They appear to be extra-galactic in origin, a species or collective that travels through subspace, emerging to consume all forms of energy, including life itself." Ambassador Chen Wei, now in his 70s and serving his final diplomatic tour, listened with carefully concealed knowledge. Humanity's hidden observers had detected the Voidborn months before the Confederation realized what was happening. The data had been flowing steadily to Ascension Command, where analysts worked around the clock to understand the new threat. "What defensive measures are being deployed?" asked the Trilaxian representative, their crystalline form vibrating with anxiety. "All available fleets have been mobilized," replied Defense Coordinator Murkash, a massive chitinous being whose species specialized in military strategy. "But conventional weapons appear to have limited effect. The Voidborn absorb energy-based attacks, and physical munitions pass through their semi-corporeal forms with minimal damage." "They can be hurt," interjected the Ithmeri scientist, Pelna. "Our research vessels captured readings before they were destroyed. The Voidborn have a dimensional frequency. If we can generate counter-frequencies, we might disrupt their cohesion." "How long to develop such technology?" Zolvash asked. "With all Confederation resources, perhaps 2 years." "We don't have 2 years," Murkash stated flatly. "At their current rate of advance, they will reach the core worlds in 8 months. Chen Wei rose from his seat, a motion so unexpected that the chamber fell silent. Human representatives rarely spoke at council sessions without specific invitation. "The Confederation faces extinction," he said, his voice steady despite his age. "In such circumstances, perhaps it is time to reconsider old restrictions. Humanity offers its full cooperation in this crisis." Zolvash's bioluminescent patterns flickered with what might have been hope, quickly replaced by suspicion. What could Earth contribute that the combined technologies of 500 more advanced species cannot? Chen smiled thinly. "I am authorized to request a private audience with the High Council to discuss that very question." In her command center aboard Phoenix Station, the newest and largest of humanity's hidden settlements, Admiral Keller watched the real-time transmission from Chen's secure optical implant. At 78, she had officially retired years ago, but no one doubted who still directed humanity's shadow empire. "They're desperate," noted Fleet Admiral James Okonkwo, now her second in command. "The Voidborn have destroyed a third of their military capacity in less than 6 months. And they still don't understand what they're fighting," added Dr. Layla Kapoor, who had continued her father's research after his death. "Our analysis confirms the Voidborn aren't simply absorbing energy. They're consuming dimensional potential itself. That's why conventional weapons fail." Keller nodded, her eyes never leaving the display showing Chen being escorted to the High Council's private chambers. "The question is no longer whether we reveal ourselves, but how. This threat endangers all sentient life in the galaxy, including our own." "Operation Daybreak is prepared," Okonkwo confirmed. "The Phantom Fleet is positioned near every major Confederation world. Nexus gateways are standing by. We can deploy our forces in seconds if authorized." "Our dimensional displacement weapons are ready as well," said Dr. Kapoor. "The field tests confirm they can disrupt the Voidborn's cohesion, forcing them back into subspace." Keller allowed herself a small smile. "After 20 years of hiding our light, we're about to shine rather brightly." She tapped her neural interface. "Ambassador Chen, you have authorization to proceed with full disclosure." In the High Council chamber, 7 of the most powerful beings in the galaxy regarded the elderly human with mixed expressions of hope and suspicion. "Speak plainly, Ambassador," Zolvash commanded. "What can Earth offer against this threat?" Chen squared his shoulders. "Not Earth alone, High Arbiter. Humanity." With practiced precision, he activated a holographic projector that bypassed the Council's security systems. The room filled with three-dimensional star maps showing the Milky Way galaxy, with dozens of points illuminated in blue. For 20 years, the Confederation has believed humanity contained within 8 worlds, Chen explained. The reality is somewhat different. The hologram shifted, revealing vast structures existing in what appeared to be folded space, settlements housing millions, shipyards producing advanced vessels, research facilities developing technologies beyond anything the Confederation possessed. "Impossible," whispered Merkash. "Our monitoring systems were circumvented within 5 years of your restrictions," Chen finished for him. "Humanity developed the capacity to create and exist in a dimensional layer you cannot detect. What you see here represents less than half of our true capacity. This is an outrage." The Vextal representative's gelatinous form rippled violently. "You have violated every restriction placed upon your species. This confirms you are exactly the threat we feared." "Perhaps," Chen acknowledged calmly. "Or perhaps we are exactly the allies you need at this moment. Our scientists identified the Voidborn threat months ago. We have developed weapons specifically designed to combat them. Weapons we are prepared to deploy in defense of all sentient life, including yours." He expanded the hologram, showing specifications for dimensional displacement technology that could force the Voidborn back into subspace. "How do we know this isn't some elaborate deception?" demanded Zolvash. "A convenient crisis you manufactured to force our acceptance of your illegal expansion." Chen's expression hardened. "Because in approximately 7 minutes, a Voidborn vanguard will emerge in the Proxima Centauri system, the site of our original incident. They have been following a pattern, targeting systems with specific quantum signatures. Our analysts predict they will target your primary monitoring station there." The council chamber erupted in panicked communication as members contacted their military liaisons. Confirmation came within minutes. Voidborn signals detected approaching Proxima. "If you take no action," Chen continued relentlessly, "that station and its 12,000 personnel will be destroyed, or you can authorize us to demonstrate our capabilities." Zolvash's exoskeleton flashed with urgent patterns as she conferred with the other council members. Finally, she turned to Chen. "Proceed," she said simply. Chen nodded and spoke into his communications device. "Ascension command. Initiate Operation Daybreak. Proxima defense authorization granted." Throughout the galaxy, reality seemed to ripple as hundreds of Nexus gateways activated simultaneously. Where moments before there had been empty space, suddenly advanced human vessels appeared. Sleek, predatory ships unlike the functional designs favored by Confederation engineers. At Proxima Centauri, 3 massive battlecruisers materialized as the first shadowy tendrils of the Voidborn began to emerge from subspace. They moved with impossible precision, their hulls gleaming with embedded dimensional displacement generators. In the High Council chamber, the representatives watched in stunned silence as the human ships engaged. Beams of coherent energy, not destructive but disruptive, struck the Voidborn entities. Where the beams connected, the shadow forms twisted, their cohesion failing as they were forcibly ejected back into subspace. Within 17 minutes, the Proxima system was secured. Not a single Confederation life lost. And across the galaxy, near every major Confederation world, human ships stood ready, a phantom fleet revealed at last. "This is but a fraction of our capability," Chen informed the Council. "We have 42 settlements in what we call slipstream space, 100 million humans living beyond your awareness. Technologies you cannot yet comprehend." "You betrayed the Confederation's trust," Zolvash said, but her accusation lacked conviction. "We adapted to the prison you built for us," Chen countered. just as humanity has always adapted. But now we offer you a choice. He expanded the hologram once more, showing the full extent of humanity's hidden empire and their battle plans against the Voidborn. You can accept our help against this existential threat, acknowledging humanity as an equal partner in galactic affairs. Or you can refuse and watch as we defend ourselves while your civilization crumbles. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. After 20 years believing they had successfully contained humanity's potential, the Confederation now faced a species that had not only escaped their restrictions but thrived beyond them. What guarantees do we have that, once this threat is eliminated, humanity won't turn these same technologies against the Confederation? Asked Murkash. Chen smiled. The same guarantee you've always had. Our nature. You feared us because we adapt quickly, because we refuse to accept limitations. Those traits made us develop in secret rather than stagnate under your restrictions. Those same traits now make us your best hope for survival. He stepped closer to the council table, his aged face solemn. We could have abandoned this galaxy years ago. Our dimensional technology would have allowed us to establish humanity elsewhere, beyond your reach. We chose to stay, to build our strength in secret, yes, but also to maintain our connection to the galactic community. Why? Asked Zolvash simply. Because despite your fear of us, despite the restrictions you imposed, we recognized a fundamental truth. We are stronger together than apart. Different species with different evolutionary paths, different strengths and weaknesses. The Voidborn threaten all sentient life. They must be opposed by all sentient life. On the main display, reports continued to flow in from across Confederation space. Human ships engaging Voidborn incursions. Successful defensive operations where Confederation forces had been overwhelmed. The terms of our assistance are simple, Chen concluded. Full recognition of humanity's sovereignty, including our slipstream settlements. Equal representation in the Galactic Confederation. Mutual defense and technological exchange. One by one, the council members signaled their agreement. They had little choice. So be it, Zolvash declared. By the authority of the High Council, all restrictions on human development and expansion are hereby lifted. Humanity is recognized as a full member of the Galactic Confederation, with all associated rights and responsibilities. Chen bowed slightly. In return, we pledge our full commitment to the defense of all sentient life against the Voidborn threat and any future challenges we may face together. As the formal agreements were recorded, Chen stepped away to a private corner of the chamber. His neural implant connected directly to Ascension Command, where Admiral Keller and her staff awaited his report. It is done, he transmitted. Operation Daybreak successful on all fronts. The Confederation has accepted our terms without reservation. Across the dimensional divide, in her command center surrounded by the leaders of humanity's shadow empire, Admiral Alexis Keller allowed herself a moment of quiet satisfaction. 20 years of secrecy, of building and planning, had culminated in this moment. Congratulations, Ambassador, she replied. Inform the Council that I will personally lead our delegation to the emergency summit. It's time for humanity to step out of the shadows. As Chen returned to the council table, Keller addressed her staff. The real work begins now. The Voidborn are a genuine threat, perhaps the greatest any of us will face in our lifetimes. But they've given us something invaluable. What's that, Admiral? Asked one of the younger officers. Keller's weathered face broke into a rare smile. A chance to prove that the Confederation was wrong about us. They feared our potential for destruction. Now we'll show them our capacity for salvation. Throughout human settlements, in both normal space and the hidden realms of Slipstream, the news spread rapidly. After 2 decades of secrecy, of living in the shadows between dimensions, humanity would take its rightful place among the stars. Not as the dangerous species to be contained and managed, but as equals, perhaps even as saviors. And as the Phantom Fleet engaged Voidborn forces across the galaxy, as human scientists deployed technologies that the Confederation had never imagined possible, a new chapter in galactic history began. Humanity, once shunned, had become indispensable.